Yeah, indeed. Real quick, I want to speak on prison reform and my experience with prison reform. Just to bring some clarity to my experience with prison reform, what that looks like, and how that went. So I briefly touched on it already, and one of my other videos on the YouTube page, MBM, all cat, blue letters, and ZBA, lowercase letter, ZBA. So MBM, uppercase, and ZBE, lowercase, is the official YouTube page. So in one of the videos, we had to sit down, we was discussing, some legal issues and stuff like that, and some other stuff that's been going on with MBM. Meatball Money, the artist, and just everything behind the scenes, and of course ZBM, everything that's been going on with ZBM, the music, books, and Zerafit, other endeavors, and everything like that. So we spoke on prison reform already. I didn't descriptive. I didn't get descriptive about prison reform in there. I just spoke on the actual cases and everything like that. But so anyway, me being like from Pennsylvania and everything like that, I wasn't never, educated on prison reform or anything. I wasn't sure what that meant, or nothing. But so I guess like prison reform is something. It's not really relevant in Pennsylvania, in a state like Pennsylvania. I put it that way. A state like Pennsylvania, a state that still has bail, and things of that nature, is not really relevant. But like New York, New Jersey, maybe like Connecticut, and different states and stuff like that has implemented the prison reform, bail reform, and stuff like that. Is relevant. So that was my first time ever dealing with prison reform. But yeah, so basically it's just based around your criminal history. It's based around uh, you know if you're a flight risk and stuff like that, if you have a history of it, stuff like that. So uh, it's like in different states where prison reform isn't used, if you have multiple drug charges on your record already, or multiple gun charges on your record already, or multiple theft charges, or robbery charges, whatever kind of background or charges that you may have been convicted for in the past, is what basically would be helping determine whether or not you're eligible to like be released on your own recognizance, basically, while the new matter that you may be arrested for is pending trial or whatever outcome. So like that's one thing about like bail reform, prison reform. Is based on, it kind of like has different things that make you eligible for release on your own recognizance, basically, rather than just having to spend money on bail or putting up property or valuables and stuff like that. So that was something that I learned when I dealt with a different state that is based on prison reform. Is basically looking at that, the criteria of if you have a strong history of crime convictions and whatnot, and whether or not you do, is what could determine whether or not you will be released while you're pending trial, or so on and so forth, or outcome of your case. And that's one aspect of the prison reform, bail reform, that I understand. The other aspects of it that I understand is centered around the actual new case itself, or whatnot, or new cases, whatever the case, whatever it might be, as far as like, you know, is there direct evidence or real physical evidence and stuff like that, you know, that makes it a little bit more clear whether or not, you know, you're a danger to society, or whether or not uh, you might be a flight risk. So those two those two reasons right there is kind of like, what those two reasons is like the biggest reasons why you'll be held pending a new case, or why you'll be released pending a new case. And that's kind of like what I learned from bail reform, prison reform, and stuff like that. So you know, an example, you from another state, and then you catch a case in New York, and it's not necessarily, you know, a case that's not like super high profile, not like that, but you catch a case in New York or something like that, or New Jersey, or even Connecticut, maybe, I don't know, maybe somewhere in the Midwest or down south, one of those states that might, you know, they might have prison reform, bail reform, you know, a part of their society structure, legal structure, and you catch a case there, and that's what the conversation will be. You know what I'm saying? It won't be, oh well, you have a new case, you're incarcerated, you have to pay $100,000 cash bail, or $100,000 or $200,000 with 10% of a bail. So it would be, okay, you had this case. What other convictions do you have in this state, in this city or town? You know, are you a flight risk? You know, was there direct evidence, physical evidence? Is there you know, anything that gives maybe like a, what, more than a 50% chance that you could have committed whatever you're being charged with? So it's like all of those details, all of those ideas and details is kind of like what factors in with bail reform, prison reform. So I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it was a great creation, or, you know, to the legal system and stuff like that, you know. But, you know, in the other direction, if if you just gonna keep stacking up charges and convictions and catch another case, then yeah, and whatnot, then, you know, I guess it doesn't benefit you and stuff like that. So maybe that's probably where a person will make a decision, or you would hope that somebody would make a decision, and just maybe you know, this, maybe whatever you're doing is probably not really the best thing for you to do. So yeah, that's why I would advocate for people to, you know, gracefully, uh, you know, wash their hands with whatever it is that might be leading you through the same path, you know, without cooperation, of course. I mean, I wouldn't promote cooperation, but yeah, you know, washing your hands and moving in a different direction, you know, is something that I would encourage, you know, because it's like, you know, in a state where it's bail, you keep bailing out, maybe, if you got the money and the funds or the resources. If you don't got the money and the funds and the resources, you keep catching cases, and then they like, well, yeah, you got your bail reform hearing, but you ain't getting out until the outcome of your case, whatever that might be, you know, based on the fact that you got 3 other charges that's similar, 5 other charges that's not similar, stuff like that. So yeah, that was you know, kind of the things that I started understanding about bail reform and prison reform. You know, I don't know all the extensive details of it, but that's kind of like the gist of what I got, and stuff like that. So that was how that worked out for me. You know, insufficient evidence, and you know, a clear background. You know what I'm saying? A clean criminal history background, convictions and stuff like that. You know, in those in other states and stuff like that. So yeah, you're on ZBM, no bending, man. Esquire up and all that.